What's the secret to finding reliable tenants without the headaches? Today, I'm breaking it all down. After renting out hundreds of units and testing many apartment marketing strategies, I've learned exactly what works and what doesn't when it comes to attracting great tenants. Here's the truth. Marketing a rental property wrong can cost you thousands, but don't worry, I'm here to help you avoid that mistake. Welcome to Strategy Saturday. I'm Charles Carillo, and today we're diving into the exact steps you need to take to find high-quality tenants for your rental properties. From prepping your property to pricing it right and even launching a marketing campaign that gets results. We're covering it all. Plus, I'll share my favorite tips for maximizing inquiries and choosing the ideal tenant. So let's get started. Finding tenants requires a mix of marketing, screening, and strategy. And here are some things that I have done to find reliable tenants over the years. Number one, ensure your property is 100% ready before you market and show the property. And this is like a big amateur mistake that I have made multiple times, but I've never rented an apartment to a potential tenant who saw a partially ready unit. Wait until it's done. Number two, spend time verifying the rent is the correct amount. Find nearby comparables, like actual accurate comparables, and possibly mystery shop them to verify the asking rental amount is accurate. You can do a lot of it just from the street. If you see a property and it's got a different curb appeal than yours, maybe your rental amount's off a little bit. You might not have to go into the property, right? You can utilize some of the pictures that they have versus what you have and then drive the neighborhood, because this is exactly what a potential tenant's going to do to your property is what they're doing to that person's property. Launch a marketing campaign is number three. And if you've rented the property before, you most likely know where they found you. Keep track of this information and make a marketing campaign that you can easily activate every time you have a vacancy. This campaign will include a full write-up of the unit with tenants' requirements and pictures. This will take a little time initially to set up, but once it's done, you will need to make just small tweaks to it every time, maybe change the pricing and some updated photos to turn it live in just minutes. And this is a perfect task for a virtual assistant. Additionally, you can use the listing template with all your other units at the property and possibly at your other properties as well with just a couple small changes. Always include your tenant requirements in the listing because you don't want to waste time talking to someone that's asking what the minimum credit score is that you'll accept. Now, there are many different websites where you can advertise your rental. For years, I rented my own property simply by posting them on Craigslist and also putting a sign in the yard, but I found that I got better tenants when they came through an online source. I then started adding Zillow, and in my market, I would get about 25 or more inquiries in a couple of days for one apartment listing that I was renting. Now, what I have found is that rental websites can be very market dependent. We have an apartment complex outside of Atlanta. In this market, we stopped posting and paying for apartments.com since we really found tenants through this platform. In Tampa, we found that Zillow was where most of our renters found us, followed by realtor.com. Like all marketing, it is mainly trial, error, and tracking. Now, what we've been using lately is we've been using websites that post to many different platforms at once. This makes activating the campaign easy, but it also makes it very easy for deactivating it. Now, if you have a larger property that always has vacancies, you can kind of just let it run, right? By adding apartments up if they're different, or if you have one that's kind of a similar unit, you can pretty much just let that thing run and then take those leads and just know this is my monthly marketing budget. But if you know or if you've used any of the websites like this, please put them into the comments because we're always seeing what other people are using because there's so many of these websites out there that do something similar. Now, the goal is always more inquiries. When you have dozens of people reaching out to rent, you can now choose your ideal tenant without making any sacrifices. Okay. When I rented apartments myself, I would choose a couple of times where I would set up multiple showings, maybe only separated by 15 minutes. Now, the point of this is that you might say, okay, I'm showing it Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. and set people up at 4 o'clock, 4:15. Don't tell them you're going to be there 4 to 6, but just tell them 4, 4:15, 4:30, 4:45, 5, whatever it is. Because you're going to have some no-shows, you're going to have people early, you're going to have people late. And it always worked out for me because if someone just calls in and you fill them up, just give them a time between it and they'll show up or they might not. That way, if you have 6 people that showed up, even though you had 8 showings scheduled, you still show the property 6 times. The chances of you renting it are now much better. And also the other thing too with this is that you don't have to account for everybody within it. You don't have to just drive out there and have to hope that someone shows up even after you check with them, because no matter how many times you confirm, some people just won't show up. And I usually found that on the first showing day or on the second showing day, I would rent the unit to one of those potential tenants. So also don't forget to check out episode SS203. That's SS203, in which I discuss effective tips for tenant screening once you get them into your property and they want to rent. So I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe. Submit comments on central show topics at globalinvestorspodcast.com. If you're interested in actively investing in real estate, please check out our courses and mentoring programs at syndicationsuperstars.com. That is syndicationsuperstars.com. Look forward to 2 more episodes next week. See you then.
You always want to invest in real estate, but didn't have the time, didn't know where to find the deals, couldn't get the funding, and didn't want tenants calling you? Since 2006, I've been buying income-producing properties in great locations that provide us with consistent passive income while we wait for appreciation in the future and take advantage of tax laws while we're waiting. And unlike your financial advisor, we invest alongside our investors in every property we purchase. Check out investwithharborside.com. If you like the idea of investing in real estate, if you like the idea of passive income, partner with us at investwithharborside.com. That's investwithharborside.com.
Nothing in this episode should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Any investment opportunities mentioned on this podcast are limited to accredited investors. Any investments will only be made with proper disclosure, subscription documentation, and are subject to all applicable laws. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of Syndication Superstars, LLC exclusively.